I like this one.
Maybe you just randomly from the algorithm clicked on this, but regardless, hello!
Let's begin, shall we?
Hello, everyone. Welcome in, Raiders. Dude, how was the stream? I was lurking while I was doing some other stuff. I lost track of time. I saw it was 3 o'clock, so I was like, I'm gonna turn on stream. And you already passed Rattle. So I was like, oh, he started early. Yeah, I heard you talking about it. We did 1,000 words. That's a lot of words. Holy shit. Yeah, that's a lot. I thought Pomodoro was like... Pomodoro is a type of tomato, right? I'm not making that up. It's a type of tomato sauce. Okay. It is also the name of a timer. It's used in a kitchen timer to break work into intervals, typically 25 minutes in length, separated in short breaks. Okay. That's where the connection is. It's good to know these things. That's at least 3 words. Truly, the words of all time. Yes. But nice. Sounds like it was a good stream, a productive stream, which is unusual. But, yeah. Yeah, one of the raids from last week, I think. Really? You're surprised by that? One of the raids last week, if I remember right, we raided out someone from your stream, and they asked you how many chapters you were planning for your current book, and I believe you said it was somewhere in the 50s. And I was like, he's in the teens right now. If my math is mathing, he'll have this book done by like 2028. At the rate you were going, so yeah, getting some more production probably a good thing. No shade. I'm just stating facts. You release 2 chapters a week. So your goal is about 6 months total? Well, it'd be 6 months total if you're doing 2 per week. And no shade. Everyone goes at their own pace, and I can attest, as well as many other people in here, that sometimes writing on stream, you're not as productive as you would like. It's all my windows are closed. It's probably my AC. I apologize, but yeah, I'm not turning it off because I do not want to melt while I stream. So yeah, there may be a little bit of wind in the background. You redeem puzzle time. Alright, let's do our movie puzzle first, and then I'm going to take a wild guess you want to do a redactyl. So we will do that right after. You can't even hear anything? Nah, it's fine. You're not missing anything important, Mariners. Naughty Dog, hi, hello, welcome in. Hope you're having a good day. And that as well to all the Raiders. I hope you're all having a good day, great week, all the stuff. Easy Typewriter, hi, hello, welcome in. How are you doing? We are about to start our first of two movie puzzles. Start off our stream. Ah, no, it's one too many letters. Yeah, those J.K. Simmons. Naughty Dog on the 7-stream streak. Nice. Dirty Harry would be Clint Eastwood. First Blood. Sylvester Stallone. Yeah, be nice to me. I don't know anything about movies. Batman, because there's only... Ugh. Alright, so it's not Christian Bale. It's not Robert Pattinson. Michael Keaton? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we're not even sure. Okay, so I'm pretty sure our first name is Mark. Someone who is in Thor. So it's not Chris Hemsworth. Kids hate to rate reviews. Alright, so it's not Chris Hemsworth, Jamie Alexander, Natalie Portman, Renee Russo? Might be. No, I don't think that's right. Anthony Hopkins. Who plays Loki? Tom Hiddleston. So it's not him either. Clark Gregg? I don't know. We'll leave that for now and come back to it. Oh, it's double G for Clark Gregg? Alright. Yeah, we'll come back to that one. Escape from New York. I thought Letterbox meant giving his mom... What? Oh, yeah, you are right. Yeah. Oh, let her box. Ha 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 ha. Mariner. Anyway, Escape from New York. What's his name? Kurt Russell. So we got Mark Ru. I was hoping nobody saw that. I would be incorrect. All right, we got Oscar winner 1970s. Mark Ruffalo is very likely. Young Magneto will be Michael Fassbender. Training Day. It's not Denzel. Ethan Hawke. John Cena? What? Heat. Oh. Did you know Natalie Portman was in Heat? Then Collateral. I never remember who's in that movie. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Mariners or Major is correct. Jason Statham was in Collateral. And Louise Fletcher won an Oscar in 1976. Well done, team. We crushed it. I did not confuse you with Mariners. I looked at the screen and Mariners was the last person to have sent a message. Alright, we're gonna go over to Redactyl for the Redeem. Yeah, let's all just take a deep breath. Hopefully you all cannot see the screen. No, you cannot. Okay. Switch that to that, to that. Wikipedia. So I have a feeling this one, someone's either going to get it pretty quickly or it might take a while. Team up. All right. There you go, chat. We got our Redactyl. Major's like, screw Redactyl, I hate that game, I'm getting a snack. Which, fair. Alright, we got a bunch of different guesses. Alright, so you got part of it. Part of it is film. See, I figured that would be... Someone would guess that one fairly early, but it's a matter of figuring out exactly what film it is. No idea. Rock scene. It does not have anything to do with wrestling. You all are doing fairly well so far. If you need a hint, let me know. Because I think there's a couple of things couple of hints I could drop without giving it away. No, it has nothing to do with superheroes, Marvel or DC. Alright. Yoon's pretty much there. Yeah. You just had to get the spelling right. Yeah, the Zapruder film. So this is probably fairly biased toward the Americans here, but it was a home video, which is the best view of the assassination of John F. Kennedy in Dallas in 1963. And it's called the Zapruder film because that's the name of the person who filmed it. Wouldn't the best view be of the people in the car? He was shot from the sewer. Yeah, but you can go through all this if you're interested in it. Yeah, Stephen King had, I believe it's called 11/22/63, which would be the American version of the date on which it happened. Jackie proved in the film that a woman will always ditch you. It was an organized hit because he wasn't solving the CIA. Yeah, I saw that they made it into a TV show, and it was based on a Stephen King book, but I did not watch the show nor read the book. I have been to Dallas and seen exactly where this happened. It's on actually like an on-ramp onto a freeway, and they actually have an X in the middle of the road where Kennedy was shot. But yeah, if you watch the film, the explanation that they give is like, that's some bullshit. Because the way that like Kennedy's body reacts, it's like there's no way he was shot from behind. I must away, sleep calls, moons around. All right, Duncan. Thanks for stopping by, coming over with the raid, and hanging out. I hope you have a good one. All right, yeah. So I watched a movie last week that involved some stuff around Kennedy, so I thought of this. I was like, next Redactyl. That's what I'm bringing. Uh, human body does some things you wouldn't expect when it gets. Yeah, that is also true. But like the official report talking about a magic bullet like entering his abdomen and then going up and out through his shoulder. Didn't the guy then? Yeah, and that's the other part that makes it such a mystery is Lee Harvey Oswald, who was the gunman in the book depository, ended up getting shot and died afterwards before he was questioned. So, yeah. Yeah, Oswald was shot by Jack Ruby, yes. And then we can also get into all of the eerie similarities between Kennedy and Lincoln. Like one was president in the 1860s, the other in the 1960s. Like Kennedy had a secretary named Lincoln, and Lincoln had a secretary named Kennedy, and stuff like that. The one that gets really weird is Kennedy's assassin, Lee Harvey Oswald, was in a book depository, shot Kennedy, and then escaped into a theater down the street. Whereas Lincoln was shot in a theater, and his assassin escaped to a book depository. So it's like all these weird things that just happen to line up. Um, yeah. So if you want to look into that, there's some connections there, which are interesting. Welcome back, Major. What did you get for a snack? We would all like to know. Or at least I would. All right. So, dark chocolate caramel pretzel cluster. Damn, that sounds good. Mm. Where was I? All right. So last week, no, Tuesday, last time, we went through big kind of mid film action sequence. So there were captured witches in a warehouse. Helene, Emiko, and Calixa went in to save them. Um, there were more hunters descending on it, so Margaret tried to slow them down by casting a spell to get some waves to hit the pier and get them to run away. But there were too many waves hitting the pier, and it collapsed into the bay. Um, Helene just barely makes it out. Margaret has to pull her from the wreckage. And that is where we left off. Totally unrelated, but you see that Fox are offering a salary of 50K for someone to sit in Times Square and watch every World Cup game. No. Are you saying you should apply or that I should apply? Because that's a big no for me for a couple of reasons. No. Um, yeah, that'd be a big salary cut. I'd have to watch soccer and be in New York City. So that's a no for me, dog. Okay, so now we need to get into. So my salary sounds higher than it is because I live in California and just the cost of living is so high. So it's a lot more than I was making, for instance, when I lived in Florida. But the cost of living difference makes it so it's about the same at the end of the day. So I do okay not making bank. Uh, H. H for Helene. Would you rather be an apple or an orange? I don't know. I think Major just nailed the answer. Apples. Didn't even know who it was until I saw your streams. Oh, Mariners. I'm glad I brought you into the light. Alright, so in the conversation between Helene and Margaret here, we basically need Margaret to admit to casting the spell that ended up destroying the docks. And that will lead Helene to blaming her, because we've set up that the other witches that Helene was trying to save um, didn't make it. did she say that? She doesn't need to say explicitly that she cast a spell. That she made some waves? Made, created... brought about? Obviously, Kahuna's is the choice. That is a lot of different contexts. Uh... Infuriated, enraged. EATS. Hunters. Um... Uh... I wish I could just put that extra dash up there. So we do that instead. Alright, I have to figure out how to say that Margot doesn't respond because she doesn't want to give away who she really is. So, knowing it would reveal. Reveal who she is. Okay, I feel like we hit everything I needed to in there. Yeah, okay. I think that works. Um, we didn't get to some of the reveals that I wanted to, but I feel like we need to kind of. Yeah, we might just want to say earlier. that the captured witches have some sort of shackles. So we explain why they can't just use magic to escape themselves. Yeah. So we'll copy that, put it into our notes as something. So this would probably be interior warehouse, interior warehouse. Yeah. So probably in scene 92. 92. Okay. So we can add that part later. And then the other part I wanted to have was Emiko and Calixta using a why can't I think of the word? An illusion to um, protect the escaped witches, but doesn't really work in the flow of the story to have that. So it might just be a headcanon thing. Alright, so in the outline, we've done that. Helena is furious, she blames her. That we put into our notes. I'm gonna kind of change the end of this. So we're not gonna have any more hunters emerge. I feel like the action has happened, and then there's kind of another small peak of intensity with the conversation between them, and so we need to kind of calm everything down for a little bit. So I think we just jump straight to... I don't know why my finger was on W, but it's fine. I think we just jump right to Margaret running away. Yeah, I think that works. Back was poetry-ing. Nice. Hope you made some good progress in your poetry-ing, Mariners. We're making some progress. Alright, Major. Yeah, go get some sleep, get rested up. Good luck with tomorrow, and I'll be talking to you later. NFL question. Go for it. Is it common for teammates to fight? I don't know that I would say that it's common, but it does happen. Um, and it kind of depends on your definite what kind of fight you're talking about. Um, On the field, no, that would not be allowed. Basically, two Real Madrid players apparently had a fight in training. One of them had to go to the hospital. Was wondering if that was a thing. Kind of. It's more likely to happen in like training camps or something because everyone in the training camp is basically fighting for a job at that point, and so things can get very heated and doing drills, and you have very large athletic men who are very competitive, and so yeah, fights can break out. um, I don't know that any have resulted in like significant injuries though. But yeah, if it happens on the field, it's usually between like one team or and the other team, and then it gets broken up very quickly by the referees or other teammates. And like even if teammates started fighting, the other players on the team would probably step in and shut it down quickly. This season, a player was sent off for slapping his own teammate. Yeah, I mean it's very common in the NFL to see like players yelling at each other on the sidelines, especially like if the game is going poorly or something like that. But yeah, I don't think I've ever seen one player slap another. Bugs me when two teams are having a bit of a push in football and commentators are like, "We don't want to see this." Yes, yes, we do. Yeah, I mean, I feel like the only time there would be significant any type of like physical fighting or violence would probably be in training camp or at practice between teammates. And like I said, it would probably get shut down extremely fast. Um, and the other thing you have to remember is with football in training camp and at practice, they're not always wearing full pads, but they're pretty much always wearing helmets during that time. So like if you hit someone while they're wearing an NFL helmet, it's going to hurt your hand more than it hurts them. So I think that's another reason why it isn't as common because like if two guys kind of start getting into it, like one will hit the other with his helmet or something and they'll start talking and then it'll get broken up before a fight really breaks out. Like I've seen that happen more than once. That Real Madrid story has gone mega. I have not heard anything about it, but I believe you. Um, oh, we are actually just about an hour in. We have an ad break ending in a couple seconds, so I think once the ad break ends, I'm going to take a quick break, and then we will come back and pick up where we left off. So, welcome back, anyone who is in ad jail. I'm going to take a short break and throw up some words on stream for anyone who would like to participate. Alright, words on stream are on stream. Have fun, be good, I'll be back shortly. 3, 2, 1, go. Well done, chat. Naughty Dog with the carry with 90. Well done, Mariners. Excellent work as well. And I got like 2 or 3 words. I was surprised on the first one that I figured it out pretty quickly before I walked away. But I also feel like I only got it because Major wasn't here, because she probably would have beat me to it. Alright, back to hopefully doing some writing. So, I was thinking about this while I was refilling my drink. So we're going to have Margaret shapeshift her face again. And so I want to go back and look at how we wrote it the first time she did it, because I want, as George Lucas says, it rhymes. I want there to be kind of a connection between the two scenes. Can I widen this without messing everything up? I hope that doesn't mess all the stream up. Before that, before that, before that? Question mark? Okay, yeah. Alright, so Margaret runs away into the forest. Missed a word there, it's fine. Okay, so the elements we have are she's heartbroken, distraught, drained by herself, and then she sees her reflection. And then she casts the spell. No Mariners. That's not this spell. This is our change her face spell. Wrong movie. Yeah. Alright, why did I... Meep. Let's jump back down. Man. It's interesting, like, as you're writing, you don't feel like you're making a ton of progress, and then, like, you go to look back at something and go through everything we've written, and we've made some progress. Good job, chat. We're doing great. Alright, and so this scene concludes at night, I believe. Yes. Alright, so yeah, I want some space and paste that. Okay. Okay. Trying to think of like what the sequence of events would be and what we actually need in the movie. So Helene would go back to check on the witches. Margaret left her bag there, so she would go there. But I feel like it would be locked and her bag would probably be left outside. Oh, yeah, we added some new members to our cast. No James Corden, no. Okay. I have kind of an idea. So we pick up with Helene in the 60s. And Margaret's in the Southwest. Okay, I have an idea. Book. Hi, hello, welcome in. How are you doing? How's your week going? Thought everyone would be played by Brie. Big fan, yeah. I do have another movie that I wrote with her in the lead role, and it's a movie where someone goes to a parallel-ish universe and meets another version of themselves. So that one I would have two Brees in. Book ain't joke. Yeah. If I could do it, I would not be opposed to it. Just saying. But I mean, I am also a fan of other actresses and their work, so actors, actresses and their work. So I'm good with having more than just one actor in my movie. But yeah, we definitely want as much of her as we can. Um, would it just be train passenger car? Passenger train car. Okay, so a coach. Fast car? No, we're in the 1890s, so we would not have a fast car. Coach. So we'll say coach car train. Time travel fast car. A DeLorean? I'm sorry, I have no idea what you guys are talking about. What you all are talking about. If you're talking about pop music, I do not know. Tracy Chapman? Tracy Chapman sounds familiar. Tracy Chapman, American singer, songwriter. Fast car. I'm not gonna play it on stream, but Luke Combs, I mean. Wow, now I'm the. Ah, welcome to the club book. Book club. Sorry. Bad joke. Both country artists, and one could argue that all country music sounds the same nowadays. I do not listen to that genre, so I don't have an opinion on that. Clatters. I like that better. Clatters. Should name one of your characters Delilah and get the rights to the song. I I've heard of the song. I feel like it was popular. I don't want to date myself too badly. Hey there, Delilah, by the Plain White Tees. Alright, it came out while I was in college. So I feel like I might have heard it back then, but not 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 for me. I also feel like because I used to play guitar in high school and college, and that was always one of the most popular songs on the websites I would go to look up music to play. I think that's where I recognize it the most from. 2005, very old song. Rip. Well, I am a very old 54, so it's 20 years ago. Yeah, I know he's not sorry. It's not an old song, but it's hardly a new song. Yeah, but saying very old song. Like, if someone asked me to name a very old song, I would probably try to name something for like the 40s or 50s, not something from 2005. Sorry, I was trigger happy on the keyboard. Mar- Mariners, it is fine if you think I'm old. You, one day too, if you're lucky, will be old like I am. I'm kind of old. I'm okay with it. I'm not like super defensive about it or anything. Like, I'm gonna be uh going to be turning 40 this year. Just be happy you're not 98 yet. Yeah, that too. There's a pro footballer who's in his 50s. Yeah. Is he any good? No, but that's not the point. Yeah, I think the oldest NFL player is probably early 40s. Retirement age in football is probably around 35. For NFL, American football, it would be earlier than that. There we go, missing a letter. She doesn't glimpse in the widow, she glimpses in the window. Wish I could retire at 35, says a girl who hasn't even entered the workforce full time yet. Yep. Yeah, last week, the week before, last week I think, we had someone in our office retire, and while she was still there, we were both like heating up lunch at the same time. So we were in the little kitchen area, and so like I congratulated her and all that, and she's like, "So are you thinking about retiring anytime soon?" And I'm like, I have 20 more years before I even start thinking about it. Yeah, but I'm not sure how it is with soccer in Europe, especially, but I know like NFL players here, a lot will retire in their early 30s, and it's more just like they're retiring from football and then they go on to do something else. When I retire, I plan on living my life, living on my life savings, what I'm going to do for money. The second we go, I don't know. Put it in perspective that you ain't old enough. Today is David Attenborough's 100th birthday. Well, I mean, yes, old and young are, um, what's the word? Comparative terms. So, like, when I'm at work and I see all these, 18 to 20 something year olds, yeah, I feel old. But if I go to a retirement house or to wish David Attenborough a happy 100th birthday, I don't feel old. So it's all how you look at it. Is he the guy who narrates a bunch of nature doc? Yes. Sir Dave, I believe he's a Sir David Attenborough. I didn't know he was still alive, to be honest. Glad he is, though. Yep. Says May 8th. It's not May 8th yet, Mariners. It's only 99. Even though it just came up and said thank you for 100 years. Um, See the kids on campus. I have no recollection of ever being that young myself. He is a Sir. They also just named a species of wasp. Nice. It's May the 8th for you. Okay. I know. I like giving Mariners a hard time because of time zones. Mariners is a time traveler. That is also true. Yeah, let us know if anything crazy happens in the future that we need to be. That's in the past, Mariners. Book was asking about the future. Now, will he ever write 1,000 words on stream again? I shouldn't be talking this much trash because, like, we've been averaging, like, 400 to 500 words a day for stream. Let me ask the Australians. Alright, go ask Liv, let us know what she says. Hi, hello, welcome in, new friend. Is it Atronix? Sorry. I have bad eyes 'cause I'm old. But anyway, hi, hello, welcome in. Let us know what you would like to be called. Nick works. Okay. Hi, Nick. Hello. Hope you're having a good day. So this is part of the show where I yell at you to go... Oh, yell at Mariners. You can yell at Mariners anytime you'd like, Book. Wibbly wobbly timey wimey. Okay, Nick says it. Okay, Nick's. Got it. Frank. Yeah, Book, did you ever finish your paper that you were grounded and had to finish? I think that's why you were grounded. Oh yeah, I got that turned in Monday. Had last exam this morning. Got home a few hours ago. Nice. Well, congrats on being ungrounded and finishing all your exams. I hope you did great in all of them. You asked for the peer pressure, though. It was not unsolicited. We do not condone unsolicited peer pressure. Only solicited. Book is also going to be paying her tuition back in full tomorrow. Wow. Yeah, no, included end date to the, yeah. Yeah, we only need to peer pressure you for a certain amount of time. Yeah, no peer pressure. Also, only cool kids do drugs. Let's see. Intent, decided, resolved, rose. Drugs are for mugs. We learned that in school. Not joking. Yeah, back when I was in grade school, we just had DARE and all that nonsense. Drug Abuse Resistance Education. They didn't think that their acronym could also stand for, what is it, drugs are really exciting? Or drugs are really expensive? Whatever it is. Does America really expect to keep kids off drugs? Yeah. Oh, you also had DARE? Okay. So DARE has endured. I wasn't sure if it was still a thing or not. I only have nieces and nephews, so doesn't really come up in conversations. Okay, Nick's had it as well. Does America really expect to keep kids off drugs? Doubtful. What was the meal prep this week? It was your favorite, Mariners. It was mac and cheese with buffalo mac and cheese. Came out pretty decent. I kind of messed something up a little bit, but still works. Interior. What would it be? Bathroom compartment? No, it'd just be bathroom. Coach car train. Continuous. Is that a good book? Gonna lurk for a bit so I can put some of my college stuff away. Shall endeavor to return. Alright. Yeah, we'll be here for a little bit longer. Try to get a little bit more writing done and then try to raid out to someone. So, yeah. Thanks for lurking. Thanks for hanging out. And, yeah. Genuine question. Please don't take me as joking, but I'm curious. Do you guys ever have to actually do the shooting drills, like fire drills? My understanding is yes. Students in like middle school and high schools have to do, I think they're called fight, run, hide, fight, something like that drills. But yeah, basically they have to do them at certain times to go over what the protocols are in case it happens. Which is weird, because, like, I work in a college on the campus, and I don't know. I think we would just get a notification through our phone system. When I was in high school, no, it wasn't a big problem. Yeah, I have a feeling we're probably roughly the same age, Naughty Dog. I didn't have them when I was in high school either, even though it was starting to become more prevalent in the United States at that time. Um, but yeah, my understanding is more recently it's become basically standard practice. Close, I was in high school when Columbine happened. Yeah, I think I was. I don't know if I want to look that. Okay, it was 1999. Yeah, that was right before I started high school. So yeah, we were roughly in that same time period. That's like the same time as Home Alone 2. Ooh, unfortunate. That's how I do stuff like that. Yeah, I also use movies to reference dates and stuff like that a lot too. Mariners redeem, choose to. Okay. Yeah, I'll let you know when we're getting ready to raid, and you can let me know. Oh no, I'm not. Uh, am I gonna regret having this as a redeem? I I should put something. Okay, you have a writer. Okay. I should just put a somewhere in the description for all the redeems. Um. Oh, okay. That anything is open to veto by the streamer. Yeah, for 1999, the movie that comes to my mind is The Matrix. 2001, I don't know if I have anything that. I'm sure there's something I'm gonna be like, oh yeah, that of course. Yeah, AI, artificial intelligence, beautiful mind, Ocean's 11, Planet of the Apes. uh, Man, 2001 looks like it was a rough year for movies. Not a thing to reference 2001. So we can't choose a named character, have a bank heist character be called Rob Banks. um, no. You could choose a character name and I would either allow or not allow it. But it would have to be within the um, what do I want to say? Within the parameters of the movie that we're writing. Okay, so the first Lord of the Rings came out in 2001. Alright. We got Monsters Inc., the first Harry Potter, the first Lord of the Rings, Black Hawk Down, Mulholland Drive, The Fast and the Furious. Ooh, Super Troopers came out in 2001. There are some decent movies. Not even. They're making a new Planet of the Apes. Apparently, not surprised. Is it an actual Planet of the Apes or one of the Goofy sequels? The one from 2001 was the one directed by Tim Burton with Mark Wahlberg. No idea, just saw something about it. Mulholland Drive. Yeah, Levington likes David Lynch. Um, I like parts of Mulholland Drive, but it gets a little too David Lynchy later on. Next time I make a 9/11 joke, I must put it on a plane and fly. Oh, oof. Yep, we had a good run. I will say though that since we're talking about high school and all of that stuff, you'll take your fan. Nah, it's whatever. It's been 25 years ago at this point, but yeah, I was uh, in high school. It was during morning classes. I remember a lot from that day of what happened. people when it happened just all gathered around TV. Yeah. Um, so I was in geometry in second period. We were just getting let out. My teacher got a call that something was happening. He was going to turn on the TV, but my next period was study hall, which was in the cafeteria, and they had TVs on with news coverage going. And so I watched that while I was there. And then the following period, I had um, world history. And we had an exam scheduled, and we all thought we were getting out of it, and we still had to take the exam. We actually had another teacher come in, um, draw the outline of what he thought Afghanistan looked like, and was basically saying this should all be a parking lot. So he was fired up. Um, yeah, but then at the end of the day, we just went home and we just kind of like sat in front of the TV, just kind of like stunned the rest of the day. And like as it was happening, like there was not all the details were coming through. And so there was some like misinformation going around the students and stuff as like we were trying to figure out stuff because like not everyone was watching stuff in class. Some classes were still trying to have like normal class, some weren't, and so like yeah, it was just a, a lot of that day was like not knowing what was happening, trying to figure out what was happening, and just kind of being stunned because like no one had any idea something like that could happen. Yeah, fired up was probably a bit of an understatement, but yeah, he was very animated and clearly furious at what had happened. But yeah, he should not have done that. But yeah, I think I was a sophomore at that time, and I had his class like junior, senior year, so yeah, he was still working there after it. So yeah, story time with 50. Fun, not fun memories of high school. He was one of those teachers who was also a football coach. Yes, he was no, he was not a football coach. The teacher whose class I was in, he was a football coach. Um, I actually remember his name. Um, but the one who came in was not a football coach. He might have been a basketball coach, but I'm not 100%. Sports ball guy teaching. Yeah. Yeah, I know our head football coach was a phys ed teacher, but a lot of the other like assistant coaches were from across the school. Trallion, hi, hello. I saw you were streaming earlier. I lurked in your stream for a bit. I hope everything went well. But yeah, thanks for stopping by. My wrestling coach was a religion teacher. Yeah, I didn't wrestle in high school, so I don't remember what our wrestling teacher or wrestling coaches taught. He was really young though, only like 7, 8 years old. Wow. Yeah, that is pretty young. He was super good coach though. Helped me place 3 times at state. Nice. Okay, we're gonna change that. I feel like I've used precise for a lot of that. So let's see if we can come up with a different word. Decisive. There we go. Derp. Where I grew up, the only high schools with wrestling were the all dudes Catholic schools. I'm not gonna comment. Yeah, I grew up in the suburbs in Ohio. So yeah, we had football was very big, wrestling was very big. Um, Baseball and basketball were fairly popular, at least among the students. But yeah, we had a lot. We had a surprisingly big school though. Baseball is declining in popularity quite a bit, isn't it? I don't know. I feel like it's been at a consistent popularity for a long time, but I feel like it's consistently like the fourth or fifth most popular sport, at least in America. So I don't know that it's declining, but I feel like it would like people call it America's pastime, but I don't feel like it has really ever, at least in recent history, been the most popular sport in America. Yeah, the last time I went in person to a baseball game, I fell asleep. Although Moneyball is a really good movie. I think we talked about this before. One of my favorite parts is Brad Pitt snaps his fingers and points at Jonah Hill. Jonah Hill just kind of looks at him waiting. He says, "When I point to you, it means I want you to talk." What's another onomatopoeia? Pop. Snap. TV is killing baseball. Not even a joke. Theory. Baseball is the one sport you can listen to on the radio and still know what's going on. It was super popular in the era before. Yeah. Yeah, I've listened to football games. If the announcers are really good, I can usually tell what's going on. Um, but yeah, the announcers really have to know what they're doing. Yeah, they play, I think, just under 200 games. 162. Okay, yeah, Naughty Dog knew it. Yeah, that is crazy. NBA has quite a few as well. I don't think they're at that many though, but I mean, basketball is such a faster paced game as well. NBA is okay, so it's almost half. Yeah, I mean, this is just me and my perception, but I feel like NFL is the most popular sport in America, and then basketball, and then I think kind of soccer has been ascending for a long time. But I think baseball might be a little bit ahead of it right now. So baseball, then soccer, and then hockey. Premier League is 38. Yeah, obviously way different sports. But I mean, I feel like NBA and Premier League and soccer are very similar sports. Um, in like the construction of the sport because it's the full length of the field or the um, court is always open. You have goals at either end. It's continuous action up and down. Players have to play both offense and defense. I feel like they're a lot more similar, and like there's not supposed to be direct contact, but like players can I'm the only weirdo in my department at Football Centric University who hasn't got season tickets for baseball. I get a lot of shit for it. Yeah, my university, I think most of our sports teams are not very good. So, yeah, I have not been to any of them. They always try to have, like, staff appreciation nights or something like that. I'm like, nah. Yeah, I mean, soccer is generally lower intensity, bigger pitch. Yeah, basketball is smaller. Yeah, a player in soccer only spends 2% of the game with the ball. Yeah, that is quite low. need to look up top one more time because I want to see. Okay, so then we have a moment of silence and then she looks at herself again. Okay. I want to try to finish up this part. Levington was looking at festivals to submit to read. Oh, nice. Yeah, they are expensive to submit to a lot of them. Uh, oh yeah, apparently things are due at the end of this week, not the end of this month, from what Levington was saying. Okay. Yeah, the one I'm submitting for the horror movie competition is end of this month. So that's been what I've mostly been trying to focus on. Like every day or two, I think of something, I'm like, oh, I need to update that. So I go and just update something minor. But I'm trying to take like a week or two off from messing with it so I can come back to it kind of fresh and do one more full read through of it. Like $50 a pop. Yeah, that's pretty typical for screenwriting contests. Oh, you still gotta read it? Yeah, like I said, it's not till the end of this month, so you got time. Do I need to read it with the light on? I don't know, it's kind of up to you. So, I think I've talked about this before, but I'm not a huge fan of like horror movies, so it's not like a jump scare modern horror movie. Like it's not The Conjuring or any ghosts or that kind of thing. It's more people start dying and they're not sure who or why. Yeah, like there's no slasher in a mask or anything like that, but it's more like people are trapped in a single location. They start finding dead bodies. They don't know who's doing it. They don't know why, and they're just trying to survive. Um, so I wouldn't consider it like I'm not trying to scare people through that, but more of like the sense of dread. So, I mean, it's kind of up to you, Mariners. More expensive submission fee probably means more prize money for the winner, though. Um, so most of the submissions that I've gone to don't necessarily have prizes. It's more you get to say you won first prize and in a screenwriting contest. Okay, so Naughty Dog says there's statewide screenwriting contest, 40 entry fee, 500 prize report. Okay, yeah, so there are some. Also, more in the organizer's pot. Psychological, yeah, maybe closer to that. More a quiet place than. So, um, the site that's hosting it is a place where screenwriters can um, put up like descriptions and information about their screenplays. And one thing they recently added was movie comps, so you can say kind of movies that are similar to yours. And I've been thinking about it with the horror movie, and the ones that have come to mind, and I don't know how good the comps are, but is John Carpenter's The Thing, because they both take place at a single location and they're kind of cut off from the outside world as people start dying. Obviously, mine doesn't have, a shape-shifting alien and all the body horror, but it kind of has that similar feel to it. And then the other was it doesn't go into the horror movie, so typically receives 250 to 300 feature-length entries per year. Worst psychological horror is when you gotta use up all your strength to roll a 2 so I get the last. uh, yeah, one contest that I submitted to for a couple of years was actually run by the Academy, who also puts on the Academy Awards, the Oscars. So they always would get a couple thousand submissions, and I think it was $80 per submission, plus an additional fee if you want the reader comments as well. Keep my streamer's name out of your mouth. That Oscar? Yeah. Yeah, the Academy Awards, the Oscars. Because it's run by the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Science. So they have the Academy Museum in LA that kind of looks at history of movies and does different displays and stuff, and they're in charge of the Academy Awards. Yeah. My BF keeps telling his friends about the incident like it's new news. I understand why, but he seems to get a kick out of it. Yeah, that was like 2, 3 years ago at this point. Gets offended by comedian about a joke that wasn't even about him. Yeah. Well, that whole thing, like, people have broken it down, and like, if you watch it, when Chris Rock makes the joke, Will Smith starts laughing at it, and then he looks over at his wife and sees she's not happy about it, and like that's when he stops laughing and is like, "Oh, I need to do something about this." Yeah, it was something. Um, Real time trend. Yeah. To be fair, Chris Rock. Yeah, I was surprised afterwards. Like he was kind of shocked for a minute, and then like he went back to the teleprompter and finished his bit. Where was the security? My guess is at a show like that, the security is at the entrance, and they assume once you've made it past the entrance that you're going to behave yourself. And so they probably have people stationed like at the outside. But like if Will Smith walks up on stage like and you're a security guard like am I going to go tackle Will Smith? Like what's going to happen here? Like no one knew what was going to happen. And then when he hits him like I think everyone was like, "Oh shit." And then he just walks off stage. So it was so bizarre. Well, if you're gonna make a joke about a dude's wife, you kind of gotta take what comes next. Yeah, yeah, that is also true. Damn, we keep going off on tangents. I keep getting distracted and forgetting what we had. That was on me. Nah, it's fine. Um, what's another word? Narrow. Uh, oh no! Mariners, you gotta figure out someone else to raid then. Okay. Yeah, I'm probably gonna have to edit some of the end of this, but yeah. Okay, that's we're good. Um, that's where we started. Ooh, not sure how this is gonna go. Hey, we hit 400 words at least. Not our most productive stream, but we made progress. Always progress. books like the youngest one here, and it always acts like a mother. All right, Lo-Fi Cody. Come on, let me. Fuck's sake, let me highlight it. I think that's it. Okay, I think we're. Let me know if that's the right user profile picture. Um, I don't know if you're the youngest. You're probably one. Yeah. Um, um, um. Okay. Yeah, thank you everyone stopping by, hanging out, lurking, chatting, distracting me, all the stuff, all the things. I appreciate y'all. Um, raid 2. So we got raid messages. First one is for subscribers, second one is for followers if you want to use those when we go raid over. I should be back on Sunday for the next stream where we will pick up in big jump ahead in time to the 1960s, so should be interesting. Yeah, till then, I hope you all have a good end of your week or weekend, and I will see you next time.
Thanks for checking out my channel. Do whatever you want, live your life. Hope you're happy in your body. Much love to you, and see you around.